My opinion, She-Hulk episode 2 was a step up from episode 1. I still really liked episode 1. I was very pleasantly surprised by it. But episode 2 kept things that worked, took out some things that were fine in that episode, but in my opinion don't need to be picked up. And yeah, I really like this episode. Also, this is hands down the earliest I've ever recorded a video. It's not even 7 in the morning yet. I had to wake up early to watch this episode, and then I have to go right from this over to school. So, yay, early recording. To avoid spoiling what exactly is going on in this episode, I'm just going to read the exact plot synopsis from Disney+. Because, that's what you'll see when you click on the episode. So, according to Disney+, this episode, Jen is hired at a prestigious law firm but must practice as She-Hulk and rep a complicated client. Now, if you've seen the trailers for this show or any marketing whatsoever, you know that complicated client is the Abomination, Emil Blonsky, the villain of the Incredible Hulk film that, Bruce Banner threw down with in Harlem at the end. He's now in prison because of that, and this episode picks up with, obviously him 14 years later, or I guess 16 years in universe, but also after the events of Shang-Chi. They acknowledge the fact that he was cage fighting with Wong, and next episode, hopefully we're going to get some clarity on what exactly was going on there, what that means for the case, yada yada, all this cool stuff to pick up that plot thread that just came and went immediately in Shang-Chi because it was setting up this show. Let's talk about Abomination. It's such a treat to see this guy after all these years, not just as a cameo, but actually there in the flesh, talking, an important character. I didn't realize just how much I missed this guy until they gave him back to me. And I'm going to say it right now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, a lot of people are going to despise what they're doing with Abomination in this show. Because this is not the same guy who wrecked Harlem and fought Hulk. This is not that rampaging monster. In the same way Hulk has moved on and evolved himself, so too has Abomination. He is much different now. He's had, over a decade and a half to evolve himself. So that's what he's doing in this. And I know a lot of people are absolutely going to dislike that. But on the bright side, at the very end of the episode, they reveal there's something more going on here. It's not just the surface level stuff they tell us about Abomination. I'll tell you what, he had me cracking up. Tim Roth stole the episode. I mean, he's Tim Roth. He's a great actor. He'll steal everything. But he stole this episode. I like what this episode does for Jennifer Walters because she's no longer on an island alone with Bruce learning about her powers. She's now in the real world, having to apply them and do stuff in the public eye. The caveat for her job is that she has to come to work and practice law as She-Hulk, not as Jennifer Walters. So that's a great conflict that people only want her for her superpowers. I mean, she can't even talk to her own family without them finding something for her to use her powers for, which we actually see in a very comical post-credit scene. And the other bit of conflict that the show actually resolves pretty quickly, and I think I would have liked them to spend a little more time on it, is Jen's conflict of interest, as she has to represent someone who tried to kill her cousin on multiple occasions. And the way they handle it, I refuse to believe that they don't make a meta joke about Edward Norton. And Hulk, remember how I said they were setting up an awesome plot line for him? We saw the seeds of that in episode 1. They tease a bit more of that in this episode, but with the way it ends, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of it, which is really a bummer. I want to see what Hulk's up to. He's been the best part of the show so far for me. All in all, I think this is a good middle chapter for this section of Jen's arc, where the first episode was about her learning to be She-Hulk and balance that with Jennifer Walters. This episode is about how she applies that in the real world. And the more exciting legal situation involving Abomination and Wong and hopefully eventually Daredevil will be coming into play in these next few episodes. At least that's how it's been set up to be. Alright, that's all I had to talk about non-spoilers. There's a couple things I want to talk about in spoilers real fast, so I'm going to segue into that. So if you have not yet watched episode 2 of She-Hulk, go do that, and then come back and finish watching this video. Alright, let's talk about Hulk first. He's off in space. He's on that Sicarian ship doing something in space. But it ends with them like doing that like light speed jump, whatever the MCU's version of it is. I can't remember what they call it. And then the call ends, and I'm like, we're not going to see any more of this plot line, are we? We're just going to see the resolution of it. That bothers me, but it is what it is. But you know what else I really liked? She-Hulk is hot as fuck. Abomination. I already like what they're doing with this guy. In universe, it's been 16 years since their fight, so obviously Hulk has been able to move on. And whether or not Abomination was dusted or not doesn't change the fact that he's still had at least a decade to move on. So it makes sense that Hulk would no longer be holding a grudge and Abomination would be trying to make amends, although I'm not sure if he's faking it or not. That's something we'll hopefully see. I don't know, but the Abomination storyline of this show is really interesting me. And I loved Abomination's haikus, but I think the best joke, it wasn't even a joke, but I like to think it was when Hulk said he was a completely different person back then. Which I think is a reference to the fact that, you know, when he fought Abomination, he looked like this. The idea of the world only caring about the superpowers and not the person is a great concept that we haven't seen explored really to this degree with anyone outside of Captain America, but they're doing it in this. People only care that she's green. Like I said, non-spoiler, her family only cares that she's green. That post-credit scene, they have her lifting a car, mounting a TV, carrying like 7 jugs of water at the same time because she can, and it means they no longer have to do it. JLK&H first day, they said you only have the job if you're green. You only have the job if you represent Abomination. Yada yada. They only care about the superpower aspect and not actually the person, Jennifer Walters. That's great conflict. That's great storytelling. That's a thing you should do with Hulk. And I like that they're doing that. Even Nikki says it doesn't matter because they get cool stuff out of her being Hulk. That's really all I had to talk about spoilers. It was just those 3 things I wanted to mention. But overall, I'm actually very impressed with the quality of She-Hulk so far because the marketing sucked. So I'm very pleasantly surprised. I hope it retains the quality of this episode because it will be a fun show that I'll gladly rewatch. But part of me thinks that when I get to the actual legal scenes, it's not going to go over well. Well, there you guys go. That is my review of episode 2 of She-Hulk titled Superhuman Law. What did you think of the episode as well as my review? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, leave a like on this video, subscribe, click on the bell icon to receive all notifications from the MCU HQ. That's going to be it. Have a great day, guys.